MacBook Pro 2021, what you need to know about Apple's new MacBook Pro 14 inches. Hi guys. My name is Chloe. Welcome to my channel. On this channel I give updates on latest leaks, rumors, release dates, and price of new gadgets from all the giant tech companies around the world. Please subscribe to my channel if you are new. Share. And kindly comment the country you are watching from. And don't forget to like this video. Apple has big plans for the MacBook Pro in 2021 with a redesign expected to turn the 13-in model into a 14-in MacBook Pro. There are many more new features coming to the range, including a more powerful version of Apple's M1 chip new screen technology. It seems that Apple will also correct old mistakes with the new MacBook Pro models with the return of MagSafe and the disappearance of the Touch Bar. These changes have been rumored for some time, and following the leak of 15 images from one of Apple's suppliers after a ransomware attack, it seems even more certain. The 14-in MacBook Pro has been rumored for some time. Last year TF International Securities analyst Ming-Chi Kuo even suggested that the 14-in MacBook Pro would be here by the end of 2020, but he later changed his forecast indicating that Apple's plans had been pushed back to 2021 because it wanted to use mini LED displays in the new models and there were problems with supply due to the coronavirus pandemic. An Apple leaker on Twitter has told 9to5Mac that Apple will drop the MacBook Pro logo from below the screen. That site reports that he said, focusing on the MacBook Pro 14-inch and 16-inch models, the design will be similar to the iPad Pro with flat edges. The bezels will be reduced and the bottom MacBook Pro logo will be removed. New features and spec. Whether there is a design overhaul or not, it is likely that there will be changes on the inside in terms of processor and potentially storage options. Below we will look at the specs we expect to see inside the new MacBook Pro models. There were some design changes in the inside of the 16-in MacBook Pro that could translate to the new 13-in models. There were changes to the internal thermal management, larger heat sink, and changes to the fan design, rearranged logic board for better heat dispersal. Probably necessary in part to accommodate the larger 100W battery and the extra 12W power. Graphics. The M1 MacBook Pro models that launched in November 2020 offer 8-core CPU and 8-core GPU. Those hoping for better graphics performance will be pleased to learn that there will be either 16 or 32 graphics core variations for the new models. Incidentally, the current 2.0 GHz MacBook Pro offers Intel Iris Plus graphics, which are integrated with the Intel processor. Tests show that the Intel-powered MacBook Pro with its internal Iris graphics card had little chance against the M1 MacBook Pro. In a developer document, Apple said, the integrated GPU in Apple processors is optimized for high-performance graphics tasks. RAM. The 2.0 GHz 13-in MacBook Pro on sale now offers 16 GB RAM as standard. The M1 MacBook Pro offers 8 GB RAM. Apple claims that its Unified Memory Architecture, UMA, means that it's not necessary to have as much RAM because all the RAM can be accessed quickly as it is all in the same location as the GPU and CPU and can be attributed where it is needed. This may mean that the new 14-in MacBook Pro ships with 8 GB RAM as standard. However, the good news is that, if you were hoping for more RAM, that too will be addressed by the new models. The chips also include up to 64 GB of memory versus a maximum of 16 on the M1, states the May Bloomberg report. There will also be an improved neural engine, which will enable the addition of more Thunderbolt ports, according to Bloomberg. Speakers and microphone. The 16-in MacBook Pro has improved speakers with deeper bass and a noise-canceling microphone. Will the 14-in models gain the same update at some point? Possibly we may see an improvement, although not on the same level. The improvements in the 16-in may not be possible in the limited space of the smaller model. There are 3 speakers on each side of the 16-in MacBook Pro, 2 of which are woofers. The smaller model may simply be unable to accommodate this, even if the screen is 14 and the size of the Mac is unlikely to change significantly. As for the microphone, the 13-in model probably doesn't need the 3-mic studio array required by professional creative users. Battery. The 16-in MacBook Pro has a 100W battery, which is the biggest battery allowed in laptops before they would be banned from planes. This bigger battery means the 16-in model now offers 11 hours of use. The 13 and MacBook models with Intel processors currently offer 10 hours use. It's possible that Apple Silicon will make it possible for Apple to achieve more battery life from the smaller models. The 2020 M1 MacBook Pro offers 20 hours battery life, so it looks promising. No touch bar. As we mentioned above, according to a January 2021 investor note from Ming-Chi Kuo, the OLED touch bar will be removed from the new MacBook Pro and the physical function buttons will be restored. We've never been huge fans for the touch bar, which we think is more of a gimmick than a useful feature, so we don't think that it will be a great loss. According to Mac Rumors, leaked images of the new MacBook Pro floating around on Twitter also confirm that the device will not feature a touch bar. Alternatively, the new model could include an updated touch bar. Read, Apple patents Force Touch for MacBook Pro touch bar. For more ways in which Apple is learning from its mistakes, read, 4 times Apple learned from its mistakes. Ports. The return of MagSafe is also predicted for the new MacBook Pro. Both Kuo and the Bloomberg report in January 2021, mentioned earlier, state that Apple will be restoring the MagSafe charging connector, which was popular with people who didn't want their Mac to crash to the ground when they tripped over the power cable. Another January 2021 Bloomberg report included a snippet that indicates that the new MacBook Pro will offer an SD slot. In April, the leak of 15 images after a ransomware attack on Apple manufacturing partner Quanta indicates that the rumors are true. Read, hacked drawings reveal new MacBook Pro. REvil, who threatened Quanta in the $50 million ransomware attack, published the 15 images. We won't be showing the images here, but can confirm, via Mac Rumors, that they show an HDMI port, a USB-C/Thunderbolt port and an SD card reader on one side and 2 additional USB-C/Thunderbolt ports and a MagSafe charging slot on the other side. Face ID and webcam. From time to time, Apple files or is granted patents for new technologies that may appear in a future Mac. We've noted a few of these below that could eventually make their way onto the MacBook Pro, although we don't expect that they will this time around. No trackpad. This is a bit less likely than the above, but it is something that Apple has been investigating and has filed a patent relating to. U.S. Patent 10,942,571 describes a laptop computing device with discrete haptic regions. It's assumed that if this patent was applied, the trackpad below the keyboard would be omitted, and the entire area below the keyboard would become a touch surface. A Taptic engine provides haptic feedback, such as the click feeling during an action. It does sound a bit like a plan to replace the keyboard with a touch bar, and given rumors that Apple is set on removing the touch bar from future MacBook Pro models, it really does sound unlikely that Apple would apply this patent in the real world, but who knows? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button and comment the country you are watching from. See you in my next video.